Hello, friends! We're so happy you joined us today. We've got a lot of exciting stuff prepared for you, and we're sure you'll love it.
Yes, yes. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our new adventures. Give us a like so we know you enjoy what we're doing.
Hey, don't waste time. Subscribe to the channel and hit those likes. We're working hard for you, and it's the only way to support us. So come on, do it now.
Yeah, and don't forget to leave a comment. It's important for us to know what you liked or what you'd like to see next.
Well, let's get started. Today, our boy Tim will be playing Roblox in the Escape Toby's hospital mode.
Oh, a hospital. I hope it won't be too scary. I always get nervous in places like this.
A hospital, huh? Tim can handle anything that comes his way. Let's see how he gets out of this mess.
I hope it's clean there, and there won't be any dirty corridors or filthy instruments. So shall we begin?
Great! We found the key! Tim, let's hurry and open that door! We're almost out of here!
Oh no, the doctor is right behind us. Tim, please be careful and don't drop the key. We need to move quickly.
Run faster, Tim. That doctor won't catch us if you keep up the pace. We won't let him get to us.
I can hear his heavy breathing. Tim, get that door open now. I can't stand the thought of him getting any closer.
This is kind of fun, isn't it? Crawling through the vents feels like we're on a secret mission. Tim, you're doing great.
I don't know, Joy. It's so cramped in here and we don't know what's ahead. What if there are traps or something worse?
Stop worrying, Anxiety. Tim can handle it. He's been through worse. Just keep moving forward and we'll be out of here in no time.
I hope this vent doesn't get any grosser. I can already feel the dust sticking to my skin. Ugh, this is so disgusting.
Hey, look! I think I see a way out just ahead. We'll be in a new room in no time. Stay positive, everyone.
Oh no, we're here. What's that smell? It's getting stronger. I have a bad feeling about this.
Great, what now? More obstacles? Tim, get ready. We can't afford to slow down.
Look at those pipes. Green slime is oozing out of them. This is a nightmare. Tim, you'll have to jump on those blocks to get across. Just don't touch the slime.
We have an incredible story for you about how Tim ended up on a thrilling treasure hunt on a mysterious island. It all started when Tim found an ancient map in an old library. The map marked the way to a legendary treasure hidden on the enigmatic island. Tim was absolutely thrilled at the idea of going on this adventure.
Oh, absolutely! But it wasn't just about finding the treasure. The island was full of traps and dangers. Tim faced off against nasty sea monsters and evil pirates. One of the toughest moments was when he had to cross a bridge made of creaky planks. Tim kept stumbling and falling into the water. It was definitely not an easy challenge.
I was so worried too. Tim was constantly in danger. In the dark depths of the cave where he was searching for the treasure, he couldn't find his way out. I was afraid he might get lost or fall into some trap. But he showed such determination and managed to find an ancient mechanism that revealed secret passages.
And those creepy caves. They were full of muck, mold, and horrifying spiders that made even me shudder. Tim kept stepping in sticky slime, and the horrid smell filled the cave. It was clear that it wasn't easy for him, but he kept going despite all the disgust.
And finally, after all the hardships, Tim found the treasure. It was hidden in an ancient chest, and when he opened it, fireworks of precious gems exploded into the air. Tim was on cloud 9, and we were all so happy that he had overcome all the obstacles and found the treasure.
Yes, and I must admit he showed incredible willpower. Even though I'm not thrilled that everything went so smoothly for him, he deserves praise for handling those horrible trials.
It was a tense journey, and I'm glad it ended well. Tim proved that even in the scariest situations, you can find a way out.
Yes, although it was frightening and disgusting, Tim managed to overcome all the challenges. And perhaps those unpleasant experiences made his adventure even more exciting.
In the end, Tim returned home full of new experiences and stories. And although the journey was tough, he proved that with determination and bravery, you can overcome any obstacle. I hope you enjoyed this story. Get ready for another exciting story about Tim's adventure in a fantastical realm. This time, Tim found himself in a magical land where he had to compete in a grand tournament to save the Enchanted Kingdom. The tournament had all kinds of incredible challenges, from dragon racing to wizard duels. Tim was beyond thrilled to prove himself in such a magical setting.
Oh, the tournament wasn't all rainbows and butterflies. Tim had to face off against some of the most ruthless competitors. There was a particularly nasty sorcerer who constantly tried to sabotage Tim's efforts. Tim was furious when his dragon was tampered with and almost lost the race. It was infuriating to see how low some people can go just to win.
I was on edge the whole time. The stakes were incredibly high, and one mistake could mean disaster. Tim had to navigate through a labyrinth filled with hidden traps and mystical beasts. There were moments when I feared he might get trapped or face a dangerous creature that could end his quest. Every turn seemed like it could be his last.
And the conditions in the labyrinth were just dreadful. The walls were covered in slimy moss, and the air was thick with a foul stench. Not to mention the creepy crawlies and the occasional burst of foul-smelling gas that made the whole experience just revolting. Tim had to wade through muck and fight off disgusting critters while trying to stay focused.
Despite all the challenges, Tim's perseverance paid off. He managed to navigate through the labyrinth, beat the sorcerer in the final duel, and win the grand prize, a magical artifact that could restore peace to the kingdom. Tim's excitement was through the roof when he realized he had saved the realm and achieved his goal.
It was satisfying to see Tim triumph over those who tried to bring him down. Even though it was a hard-fought victory, Tim showed that determination and courage can overcome even the nastiest obstacles.
I'm relieved that everything turned out well in the end. Tim's bravery and quick thinking saved the day. The tension was immense, but he handled it all with incredible skill.
As much as I hated the nasty conditions and the gross encounters, I have to give Tim credit for pushing through. His ability to endure the disgusting aspects of the quest and still come out on top was truly impressive.
And that's the story of Tim's magical tournament adventure. He proved once again that no matter how challenging or disgusting the situation, with determination and a positive spirit, you can achieve greatness. Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed the story. Today, we're going to tell you an incredible story about how we, joy, anger, anxiety, and disgust, used to be in the mind of a criminal. Yes, it's true. We were part of his mind and helped him turn his life around. It all started many years ago when this criminal was just beginning his path.
Yeah, it was something. We were all filled with rage and hatred, and honestly, it was quite an unpleasant time. This criminal was furious, and I was the main source of his anger. He constantly directed his rage at others, which of course led him to a lot of problems.
On the other hand, I was there to remind him of all the possible dangers and consequences of his actions. My anxiety and fear often spilled over to him, making his life even more stressful. I was always in his head, highlighting how risky and dangerous everything was.
I can't forget how I filled his mind with repulsive thoughts. He was full of disgust towards the world around him, and that didn't help his mood at all. He only saw the bad in everything, which just made things worse.
But everything changed one fine day. At some point, he started to realize that this life wasn't bringing him happiness. I began to remind him that joy and satisfaction could be found outside of this darkness. We started working together to guide him on the right path.
Yeah, I admit it wasn't easy. He had to deal with my anger and learn to control it, but in the end, he learned to use it for positive purposes. He began fighting for justice instead of spreading chaos.
I also helped him by showing that fear and anxiety could be used to avoid real threats and make thoughtful decisions. I taught him that sometimes dangers can be prevented by taking the right measures.
And I played my part too. I helped him see that disgust and aversion could be overcome, and that it's important to strive for cleanliness and order. He learned to appreciate the good things in life and stopped focusing on what disgusted him.
In the end, we all helped him change his life. Now he lives an honest life, helps others, and has found his place in society. We are proud that we were able to help him become the best version of himself.
Yes, I'm glad he realized that anger isn't the path to happiness. He learned to use his energy for something good.
And I'm happy that his fear and anxiety now help him avoid real dangers, rather than creating them.
And I'm glad he was able to overcome his negative feelings and find joy in life.
So, friends, that's the story. Even the darkest and most negative thoughts can be transformed into something good. It's never too late to change your life for the better. Thanks for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed our story.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride. Remember, even when things get tough, you've got the power to make a change.
And if you ever feel overwhelmed, just take a deep breath and think things through. You've got this.
Don't forget to keep things clean and stay true to yourself. It's the little things that make a big difference.
Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed our time together. Your support really helps
Goodbye for now. Remember, keep striving for the best.
Bye, everyone. Hello, everyone, dear friends. I'm Joy, and we're so happy to see you again. Today, we have an incredible adventure planned. But before we start, let's make sure you're subscribed to our channel.
Hi, everyone. I'm Disgust, and I'm here too. Yes, Joy, you're right. But don't you all want to hit that subscribe button and give us a like so you don't miss our new videos?
Exactly. Your likes and subscriptions help us create more interesting content for you. And don't forget to click the bell so you're always notified about our new releases.
And of course, leave a comment. We always love to hear your opinions. Just remember to keep it clean and polite. After all, no one wants to read nasty comments.
Thank you for your support. It really means a lot to us. So, are you ready for a new adventure?
Let's get started. And remember, subscribing, liking, and commenting are your tickets to our next incredible journey.
Today, Tim will be stealing diamonds from a jewelry store in Roblox.
I don't think we should do this. It's very dangerous. What if he gets caught and sent to jail? What if he gets into trouble and something happens to him? I'm very worried about our boy Tim. Look through this window. There are lasers, and I've heard about them. It's a security system. If you touch one of those lasers, the alarm will go off. You mustn't touch those beams under any circumstances, or there will be trouble.
Wow, look at all these lasers. It's like we're in a high-tech spy movie. Isn't it exciting? I just know Tim is going to navigate through this like a pro.
Exciting? This is a disaster waiting to happen. Those lasers are set up to catch us in one wrong move. And look at that guard over there. This is not going to be easy.
Look, the guard is asleep at his desk. This is incredible. It's our chance to slip by while he hasn't noticed us. What luck?
He's asleep? This is infuriating. He's not even doing his job, and we have to risk everything because of his laziness. We need to act quickly and carefully not to wake him up.
This is so risky. If he wakes up, we could be in serious trouble. We need to move extremely carefully and avoid making any noise.
Ugh, what a disgusting guard. Even asleep at his desk with everything around him dirty. All right, let's focus on not waking him up.
Don't worry. Everything will be fine. Tim, move quietly and cautiously. We have a chance to get through this if we stay smart and focused.
Be careful, Tim. Move past him quietly without making any noise. If anything goes wrong, this lazy guard could get us into serious trouble.
Stay focused on what you're doing. Don't make sudden movements and try not to make any noise. If the guard wakes up, it will be a disaster.
Tim, just stay away from that disgusting guard and be careful. I hope he doesn't wake up and cause us more problems.
We can do this if we work together and stay positive. Good luck, Tim. We believe in you. Today, we have an incredible story about how Tim went on a space adventure. It all started when he won a ticket on a spaceship in an intergalactic lottery. Can you imagine? A real spaceship. Tim was thrilled and immediately began preparing for the journey.
Yeah, I remember how worried I was. Space is so huge and unknown. What if the ship breaks down? Or what if they run out of oxygen? I kept thinking about these dangers and couldn't calm down.
Seriously, anxiety, calm down a bit. Tim can handle it. What irritated me more was the thought that the spaceship might be unreliable. And what if someone on the crew turned out to be irresponsible? I was ready to take on anyone who tried to stop Tim.
Let's not forget about cleanliness. Spaceships can be so dirty. Dust, germs, all that stuff disgusts me. I hope they had good filters and cleaners on board.
When Tim finally took off, it was amazing. He saw Earth from space, like a blue marble floating in the vastness. And then the real adventures began. The first destination was the mysterious planet Zelonia, covered in luminescent jungles.
But the jungles looked so dangerous. Unknown creatures, poisonous plants. I kept thinking something terrible was about to happen.
Listen, anxiety, stop being scared. Tim is a true hero. He made it through the jungle despite all the dangers. And when one of the creatures tried to attack him, he bravely defended himself.
Don't forget that the jungle was full of dirt and slime. But Tim kept moving forward. That surprised me a bit, because I would have gone home at the first hint of dirt.
And finally, after all the trials, Tim found an ancient temple hidden deep in the jungle. Inside the temple was a magical crystal that could grant wishes. Tim used it to return home and share his incredible adventures with his friends.
I was so happy when he came back safe and sound. All those dangers, it was too much for me.
Yeah, I'm glad too. But the main thing is that Tim proved that courage and determination can overcome any obstacle.
And thank goodness he finally cleaned up after all those adventures. Cleanliness is the key to health.
We have a fantastic story about how Tim discovered a hidden underwater city. It all started when he found an ancient map in his attic. The map showed the way to the legendary city of Atlantica, said to be filled with treasures and secrets. Tim was ecstatic and couldn't wait to embark on this underwater adventure.
Oh, I remember how worried I was. Diving deep into the ocean? What if his oxygen tank ran out? Or if he encountered dangerous sea creatures? The ocean is vast and unpredictable, and my mind was racing with all the possible dangers.
Seriously, anxiety, chill out. Tim's got this. What really got me fired up was the thought that someone else might find the city first and steal all the treasures. Tim had to be quick and brave to get there before anyone else.
Ew! Let's not forget about the ocean. It's filled with all sorts of unpleasant things. Seaweed, fish slime, and who knows what else. I was just hoping Tim had a good wetsuit to keep all that yuck away.
When Tim finally set off on his journey, he used a high-tech submarine to dive deep into the ocean. He saw incredible things, colorful coral reefs, schools of shimmering fish, and even a playful dolphin that guided him part of the way. It was like entering a magical world beneath the waves.
Enough with the fear. Tim was determined. When he finally saw the outline of Atlantica, he knew he was on the right track. But then he had to navigate through a maze of underwater caves. It made my blood boil thinking about all the obstacles he had to overcome, but Tim kept pushing forward.
But then, as he got closer to the location marked on the map, the water became darker and more ominous. Strange shadows moved in the depths, and I couldn't stop thinking about what might be lurking there. My heart was pounding with worry.
And let's not forget the murky water in those caves. It was filled with silt and algae, just gross. But Tim bravely swam through, keeping his eyes on the prize. I had to admire his determination, even if it was pretty disgusting down there.
Finally, Tim emerged into a vast underwater cavern where the city of Atlantica lay before him. It was breathtaking. Ancient structures covered in sea plants, glowing with a mysterious light. And in the center of the city was a treasure trove filled with gold, jewels, and artifacts from a long-lost civilization.
I was so relieved when he found the treasure. But then I started worrying about how he would get it all back to the surface safely. What if something went wrong?
Tim's no quitter. He carefully packed up as much as he could carry and made his way back through the caves. When he finally surfaced, I was cheering. He'd done it. He'd found Atlantica and its treasures.
And he made it back without getting too covered in sea slime, which was a huge relief. Tim's adventure was incredible, but I was glad he was back on dry land.
Once, Tim decided to go on a treasure hunt in an abandoned castle. We were all thrilled about this adventure. Just imagine, old walls, hidden passages, and secret rooms full of mysteries. Tim was ready for any challenges because at the end of the journey, untold riches awaited him.
But of course, I started to worry immediately. What if the castle collapses? Or what if there are ghosts? Tim was so determined that my worries only grew. Every creaking floorboard made me anxious. Tim, be careful. Are you sure this is safe? I kept repeating over and over.
And I was furious at anxiety for her constant fears. Enough already with the fear anxiety. Tim is doing great. And anyway, if he meets anyone, I'll take care of it myself, I grumbled. This castle is nothing compared to our determination.
And I was disgusted by the state of the place. Dust, cobwebs, and strange smells. It was too much. Ugh, Tim, just look at how dirty it is here. Be careful. Don't touch anything with your hands, I warned.
But Tim didn't give up. He found clues, solved puzzles, and got closer to the treasure room. And finally, he opened an old chest full of gold and jewels. We all rejoiced. It was an incredible adventure that showed our fears and doubts were in vain. Tim proved that with determination and bravery, any obstacles can be overcome. That's how our thrilling journey ended. I hope you enjoyed it. We're so glad you joined us for this adventure. We hope you enjoyed our stories and had as much fun as we did.
Yes, yes. And if you liked it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It's really important for us to keep you updated on all our new adventures. Also, please give us a thumbs up so we know you enjoy what we're doing.
Hey, don't delay. Subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. We worked hard for you, and it's the only way to support us. So come on, do it now.
Yes, and don't forget to leave a comment. We want to know what you liked or what you'd like to see next.
Thank you so much for your support. We can't wait to see you again and embark on new adventures together. See you soon, friends. Hello, dear friends. I am Joy, and today we will be playing Roblox in the mode Escape Mr. Funny's Toy Shop.
Hello, I am Anxiety. I heard that this mode is very scary. I hope our boy Tim is not easily frightened and can handle this challenge.
And to help Tim get through this challenge, let's all support him together. To help him, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment with your support for Tim. It really helps him a lot.
It seems to me that I heard some laughter. Tim, go check it out. I think that sound came from the other corridor.
Yes, I also heard a very strange and frightening noise. Tim, be careful.
Whoa, what happened here? Everything is turned over and knocked down. I think this is not a very good sign.
Don't worry so much, Anxiety. Our Tim has already overcome many challenges and obstacles. I'm sure he will manage this one too.
These pipes look quite dangerous. They are small and easy to fall off. Just don't look down and it won't be so scary.
I see a lever over there. I think it needs to be pulled down to open the passage forward.
What if the lever is a trap? Tim, be careful!
It wasn't a trap after all, Disgust. Some platforms have risen. I think we need to jump across them to proceed.
I think danger awaits us after the stairs. I am very scared. I believe we'll encounter the one who caused the chaos in the main room. Wait, why did the gates close behind us and the lights go out? This is a very, very bad sign.
Don't worry, Anxiety. If something goes wrong and Tim struggles, I'll roast him on the biggest bonfire you've ever seen. Tim won't be left in trouble.
Ah! Someone very frightening is chasing us. It's definitely the one who caused the chaos in the main room. Just look at his walk. His legs are wobbling. It seems he was never taught to walk properly as a child and was bullied, which is why he became so angry.
Despite his awkward walk, he's very fast, but Tim has always been quicker than the rest. I believe he'll manage to escape this time too.
Tim, stop and hit him in the legs. I think that will make him fall, and you'll be able to run further away from him.
Tim, don't listen to him. If you stop, he'll definitely do something to you. Keep running as fast as you can.
Maybe he wants to be friends?
Of course not, Joy. Just look at him. If he wanted to be friends, he wouldn't be chasing us with such a scary face. Plus, he could have told us he wanted to be friends. Yuck. He's so disgusting.
These bars are not very reassuring. Look ahead. The mesh has fallen off completely.
Tim has managed to get past the bars, but listen carefully. There are some familiar sounds ahead.
Those are the sounds of the game Red Light, Green Light. I've seen it somewhere before, but I forgot the exact details. However, I remember the rules. You need to move when it's green light and stay still when it's red light. If you move during red light, something very bad will happen to you.
Tim is almost through this game, which means it's time for us to tell stories. Now, let's tell the story of how Tim went fishing for the first time. Once upon a time, Tim decided to go fishing for the first time. It was a bright, sunny day, perfect for an adventure. Tim had always been curious about fishing, so we, his inner voices, were excited to help him make the most of this experience. As Tim arrived at the lake, his eyes sparkled with anticipation. He set up his fishing rod with a sense of wonder, and I, Joy, couldn't help but cheer him on. "Look at him go!" I exclaimed. "He's doing great so far. This is going to be so much fun. Just imagine all the joy and excitement when he catches his first fish."
But as Tim prepared to cast his line, anxiety crept in. Oh no, what if he doesn't catch anything? What if the fish aren't biting? What if he gets bored or frustrated? What if something goes wrong with the fishing gear? I worried, watching Tim with concern. He might face some challenges, and I hope
Anger, wasn't too pleased with the situation either. Why does fishing have to be so complicated? I grumbled. Why can't things just be easy? Why does Tim have to deal with tangled lines and slippery fish? It's so annoying when things don't go perfectly. But even though I was frustrated, I knew it was important to support Tim through the challenges. He has to learn to deal with these obstacles, I said. But it's definitely not fair that it's so difficult.
Disgusted by the messiness of fishing, I looked at the bait with distaste. Ugh, look at that slimy worm. Why does fishing have to involve such gross things? The smell and the texture are just awful, I complained. But Tim is trying his best despite the unpleasant aspects. We need to support him through this, even if it's really disgusting. Even though the fishing experience was quite disgusting, seeing Tim's happiness made it a bit more bearable. I suppose it's worth it if he's happy. Maybe the next time won't be so gross. We just need to get through the icky parts to enjoy the success. In the end, it was a memorable day for Tim, filled with challenges and triumphs. And despite all our different feelings, we were all proud of how he handled his first fishing adventure.
I had to admit, seeing Tim catch the fish made me a bit less frustrated. All right, I guess he handled the complications well. Even though it was annoying at times, he managed to overcome the challenges. Maybe fishing isn't so bad after all.
Even though Tim succeeded, I still had some lingering worries. I hope he's careful with the fish and the equipment, and I hope he doesn't get too disheartened if things don't go as smoothly next time. But he did really well today, and that's what matters.
Despite the worries, frustrations, and unpleasantness, Tim kept trying. And guess what? He finally felt a tug on his line. His face lit up with pure joy as he reeled in his very first fish. "Look at that! He did it!" I cheered. All our support and patience paid off. Tim has caught his first fish, and it's a moment he'll always remember with a big smile. Before we start the next story, I'd like to ask you to subscribe, like the video, and hit the notification bell next to the subscribe button so you don't miss Tim's new adventures.
The story will be about how Tim learned to make wooden crafts.
Once upon a time, Tim decided he wanted to learn how to make wooden crafts. It was an exciting new adventure for him, and I, Joy, was thrilled to be part of it. The day started with Tim eagerly gathering his materials: wood, tools, and paint. "Look at him go!" I cheered. "He's so enthusiastic and ready to create something amazing. This is going to be a fun and rewarding experience for him." Tim carefully followed the instructions for his first project: a small wooden birdhouse. As he measured, cut, and assembled the pieces, I couldn't help but feel delighted. He's doing such a great job. Just imagine how happy he'll be when he finishes his first craft. This is a fantastic way for him to express his creativity and skill.
But as Tim continued his project, anxiety began to worry. What if he makes a mistake with the measurements? What if the pieces don't fit together properly? What if he gets frustrated when things don't go as planned? I fretted, watching Tim with concern. There's so much that can go wrong with woodworking. I hope he stays patient and doesn't get too discouraged if things don't turn out perfectly.
Anger was getting frustrated with some of the challenges Tim faced. "Why does it have to be so complicated?" I grumbled. "The tools are difficult to handle, and the instructions are confusing. It's so annoying when things don't work out easily." Despite my frustration, I knew it was important to support Tim through these obstacles. "He has to learn to deal with these challenges," I said. "But it's definitely not fair that it's so hard."
Disgusted by the messiness of the project, I grimaced as Tim worked. Ugh, look at all the sawdust and the sticky glue. Why does woodworking have to be so messy and unpleasant? The smell of the paint and the texture of the wood are just gross, I complained. But even though it's really unpleasant, Tim is putting in a lot of effort. We need to support him through this, even if it's quite disgusting.
Despite the worries, frustrations, and unpleasantness, Tim persevered. His dedication paid off as he completed his first wooden birdhouse. "Look at that! He did it!" I cheered. "He's finished his craft, and it looks fantastic." All our support and encouragement helped him get through the challenges. He's so proud of his work, and it's such a joy to see his hard work come to fruition.
Even though Tim succeeded, I still had some lingering concerns. I hope he's careful with the tools in the future and doesn't get discouraged by any mistakes he might make. Woodworking can be tricky, but he did really well today. I'm relieved he managed to finish his project successfully.
I had to admit, seeing Tim complete his birdhouse made me feel a bit less frustrated. All right, maybe it wasn't as easy as it seemed, and he handled the difficulties well. Even though it was annoying at times, he managed to overcome the challenges. Maybe woodworking isn't so bad after all.
Even though the woodworking project was quite messy and unpleasant, seeing Tim's satisfaction made it more tolerable. I suppose it's worth it if he's happy with his work. Maybe the next project won't be so gross. We just need to get through the messy parts to enjoy the success. In the end, Tim's experience with woodworking was a memorable one, filled with challenges and achievements. Despite all our different feelings, we were all proud of how he learned and succeeded in his new craft.
And so the stories come to an end. Tim has defeated the main boss and is nearing the end of the level. I believe that thanks to Tim's hard work, he's breezing through these stages. If you put in a little effort, like the video, and subscribe to the channel, it will make Tim very happy. Goodbye, everyone. Hello, dear friends. Today, we are going to escape from the Pomni prison. But before we start, let's all give a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. This will help our boy Tim to complete challenges more often so that videos can come out more frequently. Let's get started with the escape.
Yes, let's get started.
I heard that Pomni can be beautiful, but you should never fall for this provocation. It's a trap. That's how she lures people in and then locks them in a cage. Therefore, you must always remember that she is very evil and bad. Remember, you can never judge someone as good just because of their appearance. Inside, that person could be very bad and betray you at any moment.
Yes, I agree with Anger. You can never put your hopes on someone just because of their beauty.
I think you need to break that grate with the key on the wall. Take this key and break the grate so we can move forward.
Wow, everything here is so colorful, but I don't like it at all. She probably lures people in not only with her beauty, but also with the brightness and vividness of her rooms. But we mustn't pay attention to that either. Otherwise, we'll end up behind bars again and have to escape all over.
She runs much faster than the usual guards. Although it's strange because men are usually faster and more enduring, but apparently not this time. I think she runs day and night to catch her captives. Otherwise, she wouldn't catch anyone.
Yes, she is fast. But our boy Tim is much faster than her. She will never catch him, even if she trained every day to run faster than she currently can. That's because Tim is naturally strong, fast, and enduring. This helps him escape from all kinds of troubles.
I really dislike the brightness of her rooms. It's blinding and irritating to my eyes. I feel like if we don't get out of here soon, we might go blind from all this bright color.
Wow, we've descended into some kind of cave or underground tunnel. Perhaps it was dug by previous escapees from this prison. Despite being underground, it's still very bright here. It looks like colorful and vivid crystals have grown everywhere. The bright light reminds me of fireworks that are set off during various celebrations, such as New Year's, birthdays, and so on.
There are some platforms here. I think we need to jump across them to move forward. Tim, be careful when you're jumping. One wrong move, and you'll fall straight into the lava.
Let's not distract Tim and let him complete this level, so we'll tell the story of how Tim learned to ride a bicycle. One day, Tim decided he wanted to learn how to ride a bike. It was a warm, sunny day, perfect for a new adventure. I, Joy, couldn't wait to help Tim tackle this challenge. Tim took his new bike and went to the empty street near his house. "What an exciting moment," I exclaimed. "Tim is about to do something new and thrilling. I'm sure he'll have a great time." At first, Tim was a little nervous, but I encouraged him. "You can do it, Tim. It's going to be fun and amazing. You'll feel the wind in your hair and the freedom of movement." He put on his helmet and grabbed the handlebars with determination. We were all supporting him.
As Tim began trying to balance, anxiety started to worry. Oh no, what if he falls? What if he gets hurt? What if he can't learn to ride and gets upset? I fretted, watching his every move. Biking can be dangerous. I hope he's careful and doesn't get into trouble.
I, Anger, was irritated by all the difficulties Tim faced. Why does riding a bike have to be so hard? I grumbled. Why can't he just learn immediately? It's so frustrating when things don't go smoothly. But despite my frustration, I knew it was important to support Tim. He has to deal with these challenges to get better, I said. But it's definitely annoying when he falls and makes mistakes.
Disgust watched the process with thinly veiled disdain. Ew, look at those dirty knees and elbows from falling. Why does biking have to be so messy and unpleasant? The sweat and dirt are awful, I complained. But Tim isn't giving up despite all the unpleasant moments. We need to support him, even if it's really gross.
Despite all the worries, frustrations, and unpleasantness, Tim kept practicing diligently. His efforts paid off, and one day he finally managed to ride without falling. "Look at that! He did it!" I cheered. "He learned to ride a bike." All our support and encouragement helped him get through the challenges. He's so proud of himself, and it's such a joy to see his success.
Although Tim succeeded, I still worried a bit. I hope he's careful on the road and always wears his helmet. Biking can be dangerous, but he did great today. I'm glad he learned to ride, but I'll keep worrying about his safety.
I had to admit that seeing Tim finally riding without falling made me a little less irritated. All right, maybe it wasn't as easy as it seemed, and he handled the challenges well. Despite the frustrations, he overcame all the obstacles. Maybe biking isn't so bad after all.
Even though the process of learning to ride a bike was messy and unpleasant, seeing Tim's satisfaction made it more tolerable. I suppose it's worth it if he's happy. Maybe next time won't be so gross. We just have to get through the unpleasant moments to enjoy the success. In the end, Tim's experience learning to ride a bike was memorable, filled with challenges and achievements. Despite all our different feelings, we were all proud of how he learned and succeeded in his new skill.
Before we start the next story, we'd like to ask you to subscribe to the channel and give us a like. The next story will be about Tim's first experience at a concert of his favorite band.
The day Tim had been waiting for had finally arrived. His first concert of his favorite band. Joy, was absolutely thrilled for him. Tim had been counting down the days and preparing for this moment for weeks. When the big day came, he wore his favorite band t-shirt, packed his tickets, and headed to the venue with a huge smile on his face. "This is going to be amazing," I cheered. Tim is about to experience something he's dreamed about for so long. The music, the atmosphere, the excitement. It's going to be unforgettable. As Tim walked into the venue, I felt an overwhelming sense of happiness. Look at him. He's so excited and ready for this experience. It's going to be one of the best nights of his life.
But as Tim got closer to the venue, anxiety started to creep in. What if he loses his tickets? What if there's a problem with the entrance? What if the concert is sold out and he can't get in? I worried, watching him with concern. There are so many things that could go wrong. I hope everything goes smoothly for him. Inside the venue, I continued to fret. The crowd looks huge. What if Tim gets lost or overwhelmed by all the people? What if he has trouble finding his seat? Anxiety was on high alert, hoping that Tim would stay calm and enjoy the concert despite any potential issues.
Anger was feeling frustrated by some of the challenges Tim faced. Why is it so crowded? Why are people pushing and shoving? This is so annoying, I grumbled. It's so irritating when people don't respect personal space. Why can't everyone just be considerate and let Tim enjoy the concert? As the concert started, I became even more irritated. The noise is so loud. Why does it have to be this overwhelming? It's just not fair to Tim that the sound is so intense and the crowd is so chaotic.
Disgust had its own issues with the concert experience. Ugh! Look at all the spilled drinks and trash on the floor. Why does it have to be so messy? The sticky floors and the smell of sweat are just gross, I complained. And the smell of food mixed with all the sweat is really unpleasant. Despite the mess, Disgust acknowledged that Tim was having a good time. Even though it's disgusting here, I suppose it's worth it if Tim is enjoying the concert. It's just something we have to deal with in these kinds of situations.
Despite all the worries, frustrations, and unpleasantness, Tim was having an incredible time. The band came on stage, and the music was just as amazing as he had hoped. Look at him. He's so happy, singing along and enjoying every moment. This is exactly what he dreamed of, and it's such a joy to see him so thrilled. Tim's excitement was contagious, and even though there were some challenges, the overall experience was fantastic. He's living his dream right now. This night will be a cherished memory for him for years to come.
Even as the concert went on, I was still a bit anxious. I hope Tim stays safe and has a good time. The crowd can be overwhelming, but he seems to be handling it well. I'm relieved that he's enjoying himself despite the challenges.
As the concert went on, I had to admit that the frustration of the crowd and the noise seemed less significant. Okay, maybe it wasn't perfect, and there were some annoying moments, but Tim is really enjoying himself. I suppose the experience is worth the inconvenience.
Even though the venue was messy and unpleasant, seeing Tim's joy made it more bearable. It's still gross here, but if Tim is happy, that's what matters. We just have to get through the unpleasant aspects to enjoy the success of his experience. In the end, Tim's first concert experience was memorable, filled with excitement and challenges. Despite all our different feelings, we were all happy to see how much he enjoyed his favorite band's performance.
Well, the game is coming to an end, and Tim has defeated the final boss. I think he's learned that sometimes appearances can be deceiving and can lead to very bad consequences. It's important to always stay vigilant and cautious to avoid trouble. I hope you've already liked the video and subscribed to the channel. Well, I'm signing off now. Goodbye, everyone. Hello, dear friends.
Hello.
Hello!
Hi.
Today we will be escaping from prison in Roblox in the mode Barry's Prison Run. But before the escape begins, we wanted to ask you to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and leave a comment on which map Joe should play next.
Yes, this really helps Joe. When you engage with the video, it becomes easier for Joe to complete the modes. Let's help him out.
Again with the vents. I hate them. Just let me know who the person is that installs them, and I'll fry them like a firecracker and blow them up.
Anger, calm down, we've already gotten out of it.
I think we should jump on those blocks to move forward.
Joe, don't look down. I'm really scared. Be careful when jumping on these blocks. If you fall, you'll land on the spikes.
It's so cold here, probably because of those large fans blowing in this direction.
Yes, I agree with you. It's very cold here.
I don't know, I actually feel quite warm.
Wow, these grates don't look very sturdy. Maybe we should look for another way?
No, there's no other way. We have to go through these grates. Joe, be careful when you jump on them.
I think we should break this grate with that key. Joe, take this key and break this grate.
It seems to me like this vent is connected to the bathroom, or why does it smell so bad here? I really dislike this odor.
Disgust, I think you're mistaken. I hear some screams. I think there's danger ahead. Joe, be careful.
Anxiety, you were right. There's a guard there. Joe, you need to be very fast to avoid getting caught by him.
Joe, run away from him quickly. If he catches you, he'll send you back behind bars. I don't think this pipe is meant for walking on.
Don't worry, Joe isn't heavy. He won't be able to break this pipe. Many people have walked and even jumped on it before Joe. As you can see, it's not broken.
Oh no, we forgot to press that red button to open that grate. We need to go down and press it. Joe, be careful not to get caught by the guard. It'll be really bad if you do.
Don't worry about him, he's very, very fat. I think he eats planets for breakfast. He'll never catch you. Even if you walk, he won't catch you. I don't know how they hire such fat guards. He can't catch anyone. Ha ha ha, don't be angry, guard. If you lose weight, you'll be able to catch everyone.
Stop insulting the guard already. It might hurt his feelings. Just run away from him. I even feel sorry for him.
Ah, these damn vents again, how much longer?
I was right after all. It is connected to the bathroom. Ew, it smells so bad here.
Yes, you were right. I really don't like this smell. It's just unbearable.
I completely agree with you. Let's get out of here as quickly as possible.
Here's the source of the smell. Don't pay attention to it, Joe. You need to take that shovel and start digging. We have to do this as quickly as possible.
It seems like a good time for stories. Oh, what a wonderful day it was when Joe decided to cook for the whole family. The kitchen was filled with excitement and anticipation. I could feel the joy bubbling up inside as we gathered ingredients and prepared to create something delicious.
Ugh, cooking again? Why does Joe always have to make such a mess? The chaos in the kitchen was infuriating. Spices scattered everywhere, pots clanging loudly. But I kept my cool, trying not to let my anger boil over.
The smells. Oh, the smells. As soon as Joe started chopping onions, my stomach turned. The pungent aroma filled the air, making me want to gag. Why couldn't Joe choose something less aromatic?
Oh dear, what if Joe burns the food again? I couldn't help but worry as I watched him handle the hot stove. What if something goes wrong? I fretted over every step, hoping we wouldn't end up with another kitchen disaster.
Despite the initial chaos and doubts, Joe's determination and our teamwork prevailed. We all pitched in, each of us playing our part to make sure everything turned out just right. The aroma of a well-cooked meal filled the kitchen, bringing smiles to everyone's faces.
Surprisingly, the food actually tasted good. Maybe Joe isn't so bad in the kitchen after all. I grudgingly admit that all the effort was worth it in the end.
I must admit, despite my initial aversion to the smells, the final dish looked quite appetizing. I cautiously tried a bite and was pleasantly surprised. It was delicious. Perhaps cooking isn't as bad as I thought.
Whew, everything turned out okay. I can relax now. Watching Joe cook was nerve-wracking, but I'm glad we were able to help him and enjoy a meal together as a family.
Now we will tell a story about how Joe learned to swim. Oh, what an exciting day it was when Joe decided to learn how to swim. The sun was shining brightly, and the pool shimmered invitingly. I could feel the anticipation and enthusiasm building up as we gathered by the water's edge.
Why does Joe have to do this now? The water is cold, and I hate getting wet. The thought of dealing with all this splashing and chaos is infuriating, but I tried to keep calm and not let my frustration show.
Oh no! What if Joe sinks or gets hurt? My heart raced with worry as I watched him hesitate at the edge of the pool. What if something goes wrong? I fretted over every possible scenario, fearing the worst.
The water. It's so gross. I can't stand the feeling of it on my skin, and the thought of all those germs floating around makes me shudder. Why did Joe have to choose swimming of all things?
Despite my initial concerns, Joe showed determination and courage. With our encouragement, he took small steps into the water, and I could feel his excitement growing with each stroke.
Oh, more splashing. Why does learning to swim have to be so messy? I grumbled inwardly, but begrudgingly admitted that Joe was making progress, even if it was annoying.
I held my breath as Joe practiced floating and kicking. Every little splash made me jump with anxiety, but I was relieved to see him improving under our watchful eyes.
The chlorine smell? It's overwhelming. I tried to stay back as much as possible, but I couldn't avoid the sensation of being surrounded by water. At least Joe seemed to be getting the hang of it, despite my discomfort.
Now I'll tell you a story about how Joe flew on a plane for the first time.
Oh, it's so exciting! I can't believe the feelings Joe is experiencing right now. I'm just overflowing with joy seeing him here in the airplane. His heart is racing as we take off, his eyes shining with delight. He dreamed of flying for so long, and now, finally, his dream is coming true. I feel his emotions filling every cell of his body. How he enjoys the views outside the window. How he smiles at every flight attendant and seatmate. It's wonderful to be a part of this moment of joy.
This airplane is absolutely dreadful. How can anyone sit comfortably in this cramped space? Why is everyone so slow and inattentive? These flight attendants are just useless. Why couldn't we choose a more comfortable flight? I'm seething with anger every time I see how we're being served. This is simply unacceptable. Joe, why aren't you showing more initiative? Why are you satisfied with this service? This flight isn't even worth our time and money.
What if something goes wrong? I'm nervous beyond belief. All these sounds, movements, vibrations. I can't stop thinking about potential issues. Flying on a plane is so dangerous. What if we have an accident? What if something happens to the engine? Joe doesn't realize all these risks. He's just enjoying the flight. But I fear for him. I feel his fear overwhelming me. His anxiety makes me worry and suffer. Every minute of this flight is a test for our nerves.
How can anyone stand being here? It's just a nightmare. This smell, these sounds, this cramped space. I just can't. I feel disgust washing over me with every breath Joe takes. How can he not feel this horrible atmosphere? It's all so dirty, so unpleasant. I just want to get out of here as quickly as possible. Joe, why can't you hear my cry of disgust? Why don't you understand that this place is simply hell on earth? The next story is about how Joe entered a new class and got to know his new classmates.
It was so exciting. When Joe entered the new class, I couldn't help but rejoice with him. His face lit up with a smile as he greeted his new classmates. He was so open and friendly. He quickly found common ground with the kids in the class, started talking to them, and showing interest in their hobbies. It was wonderful to see him blossom in this new environment, his eyes shining with joy from making new friends. We tried to support him, encourage him, and help him overcome any shyness. Each of his successes brought me immense joy.
I am just furious about this situation. Joe in a new class and his classmates, they are just unpleasant. Why aren't they showing more kindness towards him? Why aren't they making more effort to get to know him better? I am angry at how they are treating him. It's unacceptable. I quickly grew angry seeing how they ignore his attempts to befriend them. Joe deserves better. Why isn't he standing up for himself more? I'm ready to explode with anger if he continues to endure this.
I was terrified when Joe walked into that class. New people, new surroundings. How would he cope? What if they didn't accept him? We agonized over every word he said, every step he took. He looked so tense trying to start a conversation with his classmates. And what if they didn't understand his feelings and intentions? I felt his anxiety, how it overwhelmed him every minute. We tried to give him cues, support him, but every uncertain look he gave to those mocking faces intensified my fears. It was such a nerve-wracking experience.
I feel disgust overwhelming me as Joe tries to interact with these people. They are so unpleasant and hypocritical. How can he stand being in the same class with such awful people? I can't stand their appearance, their voices, their mannerisms. And every time Joe tries to engage in a conversation, I want to close my eyes and escape from here. This atmosphere fills me with disgust, and I hope Joe soon realizes what terrible people surround him.
Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave your comment. Bye, everyone! Hello, everyone, dear friends. I am Joy, and today we are going to play Roblox in the Escape from Coach Griffin mode. Look at this fat Peter Griffin. I think he's sleeping right in the class. We need to escape before he wakes up. Anxiety? Do you see the exit from here?
Hello, everyone. I am Anxiety. Joy, I think I see the exit from this room. It seems to be in that ventilation shaft. Shall we go check it out?
Yeah, let's go check it.
I think we won't pass this map without your help, but if you like and subscribe to the channel, we will definitely do it.
I completely agree with you, Anxiety. With the help of our viewers, we will pass this mode.
I hate vents, so we need to get out of here quickly, or I'll smash it to pieces.
And I'm very afraid of vents, so I'll agree with you, Anger.
Don't worry, we're almost out of it already.
Finally, we've made it out of the vent. Let's continue to progress through this mode.
It seems to me, or this corridor smells like rotten fish. As if someone forgot to take their lunch out of the locker.
If I find out who did it, I'll roast them on a big bonfire.
Oh no, Peter Griffin woke up and is chasing us. We need to run away from him quickly.
Tim, stop and punch him right in the nose.
Tim, don't do that. He's taller and stronger than you. It's better to run away from him quickly.
Ooh, he's so fat and disgusting. I think it's him that smells, not the locker.
The path on the left looks safer. Let's run there. And you know what? I think Peter Griffin doesn't have many friends, and he wants to be friends with us. Tim, stop.
Shut up, Joe. Tim, don't listen to her. Keep running.
We did it. We've escaped from him.
Wow, what a big room, but I hate large spaces. Tim, let's hurry and get through it, or I'll burn this room down.
Anger, I disagree with you. This room, despite being huge, is very beautiful. I like it.
And I'm very afraid of large spaces. I feel like someone is about to jump out at me any moment.
Tim, I think we need to climb higher to get through this part.
I'm very afraid of heights. Tim, please be careful and don't fall down. Let's all help our boy Tim together. Subscribe to the channel and like the video if you haven't already, and don't forget to hit the bell icon next to the subscribe button to stay updated on Tim's new adventures.
Have you seen that big red hill? We need to get there quickly and roll down. It seems like it will be a lot of fun.
I hate slides. Despite its red color like mine, I can't stand them. First of all, I don't like their shape, and secondly, I've fallen off slides many times, which is why I developed a hatred for them. If something goes wrong and Tim is hurt, I'll set this slide on fire like a fireworks display and launch it straight into the sky.
What a small ledge here. Tim, be careful not to fall off it. It's better not to look down at all so you don't get dizzy.
To take our minds off this, let's tell a story about how Tim saved up for a phone. The animals escaped from the zoo, and Tim decided to help find them. I, Joy, felt joy from the adventure and hoped for the safe return of each animal to its place.
But my worries, as always, were present. I, Anxiety, worried about Tim's safety and the animals, especially when we faced dangerous situations trying to rescue them.
I was irritated by those responsible for the zoo's fencing, which allowed the animals to escape. Anger. I felt anger as we searched for each animal in hazardous conditions.
Some of the adventures and searches disgusted me, but I understood it was necessary to save the animals, and I tried to suppress my feelings for everyone's benefit. In the end, thanks to our collective effort, we returned all the animals safely to the zoo. It was a real challenge for all of us. Joy, anxiety, anger, and disgust. But we succeeded and felt pride in helping others. Tim was rewarded with money for the phone.
And now we're going to tell you a story about that. How Tim got lost in the woods. Today was a wonderful day for a walk in the forest. Tim, as usual, was full of determination and delight, and we, Joy, couldn't help but share his enthusiasm. Breathing in the fresh air and enjoying the nature around us, we joyfully watched every step Tim took. Our hearts were filled with joy, seeing his smile and feeling his inspiration for exploration.
But despite all our fun, I, Worry, always had my concerns. When Tim began to deviate from the designated route, I started to worry. It's so easy to get lost in the forest, especially if you don't follow landmarks or have a map. My thoughts were occupied with his safety and the potential dangers that could await us in this uncharted part of the forest.
Once it became clear that Tim was indeed lost, anger, was overcome with rage. I was frustrated by his recklessness and carelessness. All these adventures and experiments with fate, it's just nonsense. He should have stuck to the route that was initially planned and not ventured beyond its limits. But I knew now was not the time for anger. We needed to focus on finding and rescuing him.
Traveling through the forest filled me, disgust with aversion. The damp leaves, the smell of moisture, and all those insects. Every bush and tree could be a shelter for creepy creatures, the thought of which made me grimace. But I understood that our main goal was to find Tim, and I overcame my disgust for the sake of the common cause.
In the end, thanks to our combined efforts and coordination, we managed to find Tim. He was slightly scared but safe and sound. It was a real lesson for all of us: joy, worry, anger, and disgust. We learned the importance of balancing fun with caution, risk with safety. This adventure taught us to cherish every moment and not forget the main thing: caring for each other.
And the last story we will tell will be about how Tim played football.
Tim was getting ready for a game against one of the strongest teams in the league, and I, Joy, was filled with energy and inspiration. Seeing his smile and hearing his excited talk about the match filled me with joy. It was a real challenge, and I believed in his abilities and motivation.
However, despite all my joy, felt nervous. The strong team, the high level of play, all of this made me worry for Tim. I was concerned that he might feel pressure and not cope with the tough opponents. My thoughts were occupied with possible injuries and failures, and I hoped that his mental strength would help him overcome all difficulties.
As the match started, anger, felt unpleasant sensations from the aggressive play of the opponents. Their tough moves, rough rule violations, all of this angered me. I was irritated by the lack of fairness and unsportsmanlike behavior of the opponents, but I knew that Tim needed to stay focused and play honestly despite everything.
Some moments of the game caused me, disgust, to feel dislike. Dirty plays, painful collisions, sweat, and dust on the field. All these things made me feel disgusted. But I understood that it's part of the football world, and my feelings shouldn't hinder supporting Tim.
In the end, thanks to our collective support, Tim managed to stand up against the strong team and win the game. It was a real test for all of us: joy, worry, anger, and disgust. We learned that it's important to maintain a balance of emotions and believe in our friend during the toughest moments. The victory was our collective achievement, and we all felt proud of Tim's accomplishments.
And we thought about it and decided to tell another story about how Tim decided to learn to play the guitar.
Happiness and inspiration engulfed me when Tim decided to learn to play the guitar. I, Joy, saw his eyes light up with the desire to acquire a new skill. Every time he picked up the guitar and tried to produce sounds from it, my heart rejoiced at his creativity and self-improvement.
But always had my concerns. I worried that Tim might get disappointed or tired from the challenges on the path to mastering the guitar. Sometimes I felt he was pushing himself too hard and not taking enough time to rest. My focus was on making sure he didn't overburden himself and didn't lose motivation.
Due to my nature, anger sometimes arose when Tim faced difficulties in learning. I felt irritation at his mistakes and unsuccessful attempts. However, every time I saw him not giving up and continuing to practice, my anger gave way to respect for his perseverance.
Certain aspects of practicing the guitar occasionally aroused disgust in me. For example, the rough sound of strings or exhausting training sessions could trigger a sense of revulsion. However, I understood that this was a natural part of the learning process and tried to balance my feelings with supporting Tim.
Ultimately, thanks to our collective effort and support, Tim made significant progress in learning to play the guitar. It was a lesson for all of us: joy, worry, anger, and disgust. We saw how important it is to believe in oneself and find inspiration in new pursuits. Tim not only mastered a new art, but also taught us the importance of perseverance and determination in achieving goals.
Oh, we got carried away. Let's not distract Tim from defeating boss Peter Griffin and let him gather his thoughts to win.
Hooray, we did it! We defeated Peter Griffin!
And our video has come to an end. Tim hopes you enjoyed it. Good luck to everyone and goodbye.